staying with that story, scores of people are being treated in hospital for cholera. Lobby group AfriForum is one of the concerned groups. It's also assigned Envirocare Laboratory, who we just spoke to take those samples from water from the Vaal River in Parys. And we now know they have tested positive for cholera. Let's speak now to Lambert de Klerk, Head of Environmental Affairs at AfriForum. Lambert, thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Certainly very concerning. Let's take a step back, though, first and find out from you why you contracted the services of a private laboratory. Surely that must speak to your feeling that there might be a lack of action on the part of local government authorities. Is that the case?
Yes, unfortunately, maybe to go back just a bit and also discuss, I was listening in beforehand as well. The Parys is, first of all, downstream from the Vaal Dam, just to explain that this cholera that we picked up is downstream from the Vaal Dam, just to clear that out, first of all. And then secondly, basically, AfriForum has been, since 2020, around about, we've been in discussions as well as court cases with specifically the Department of Water and Sanitation, as well as the municipalities, Ngwati local municipality specifically, where we first of all questioned the water quality of water that's being delivered throughout the community of Parys, as well as to Mohole, which is the informal settlement. And so we've been conducting tests for the past 3 years or around about, not specifically looking at cholera, but we definitely looked at E. coli, as Mornay also previously just discussed and explained what E. coli is. And we've been conducting, and we've brought basically 3 court applications on urgent basis because of the water quality, first of all, and then secondly, because of the water quantity. The reason why I'm saying water quantity, there has been times within the Parys community and the informal settlements that surround Parys, they have been without water for some stages for months at a time. For instance, we on Tuesday also conducted tests into Mohole, and unfortunately we couldn't even take a sample into Mohole, which is the informal settlement, because there was no water running to the community at that stage.
Okay, so 2 issues here. Lack of service delivery being one. We know that's been ongoing, especially in the Vaal area. The second issue that I'd like to clear up here is that you've been concerned about the quality of tap water. In this instance, while the test results from Envirocare do show that there is bad bacteria present in tap water that they tested, it does not show the presence of E. coli, fecal coliforms, or cholera in the tap water. So the fact that they have found cholera in a test sample, and now you say downstream of the Vaal Dam, what does that tell you? What are you worried about? Because we've seen one person die from cholera in the Parys area. How do we take this forward?
So that's a very, very good question. First of all, what you must understand is where the sample was taken, where we picked up cholera, first of all, is around about approximately, I'd say, as the crow flies, around about 1 kilometer from where the extraction point is for the Vredefort water treatment pump station. Meaning, in the Vaal River system, there's a pump station that extracts water for a water treatment plant for a town, and the Vredefort is part of that town. And as we understand, and as eNCA also stated yesterday specifically, the first person in the Free State has passed away, unfortunately, because of cholera. And what we must understand is that that person, as we understand it, has passed away and lives in the Vredefort area, meaning that that specific person, and we can assume that that water that's being extracted is from specifically Vredefort, meaning that it might, and it's a very big might at this stage, might have gotten this cholera bacteria specifically from the Vaal River. And that is one of the key things that why we are concerned. And secondly, regarding Parys, what you must understand, and we can prove these facts as well, is that E. coli has been picked up in the past, specifically in the drinking water quality of Parys. Mornay also stated it from Envirocare specifically that there has been a high amount of total coliforms, which is a bad bacteria in the water quality. And unfortunately, anybody that is from South Africa would also understand that Parys overall is a more elderly people that go to Parys and that also go on retirement and live in Parys, because Parys is quite a wonderful town. And unfortunately, what we must understand with a lot of these bacteria, specifically cholera, and actually all bad bacteria for human health, they are more vulnerable to your elderly people as well as your children, which
Lambert,
still
I do
states that there's a big...
You'll excuse me if I'm going to jump in there. I want to try and get to some of the heart of the matter here and find out whether you asked Envirocare specifically to test water samples from the Vredefort system, and because those results, I don't see tests for that on the report.
Yes. So not at this stage. The reason being was our court application from the beginning was specifically with Parys, and what we've seen and the complaints we've had in the past was specifically regarding Parys. And when we conducted these tests, because of what we've been hearing in the media, for instance, with Hammanskraal as well as with Parys, is that there is concerns and there was positive cases of cholera. So we then decided, first of all, to focus on the area where we have been in court cases and court battles, to first of all confirm what's going on in the water there. And from there on out, we've been in discussions, maybe just to give background today specifically, with several key water specialists and experts within South Africa to, first of all, start identifying buffer zones, if I can say it like that, for the whole of the Vaal River, starting with Parys and then expanding it throughout the Vaal River system specifically first, just because the Vaal River at this stage gives so much water to the broad community in South Africa. It basically supplies to millions of people in South Africa. For instance, we've already been in discussions with people in Uppington to also get specific water testing samples for the area of Uppington, which the Orange River flows past. Because what we must understand about this problem is that it's almost a ripple effect that's starting to happen. And we want to confirm, and first of all, confirm what the spread of the problem is, and then secondly, to make sure that we can, first of all, guarantee to community members throughout the country that water is, first of all, safe to drink, but just to make sure that what's going on in South Africa, for instance, with the Hammanskraal, which is a very, very bad problem, and it's very sad to see that there's people dying of this
Lambert,
problem.
Just to jump in there again, have you shared these results with local government authorities?
Yes, we have. The Department of Water and Sanitation, as well as the Ngwati local municipality, was on site on, yesterday specifically, where the Department of Water and Sanitation from the Free State also went to specifically the manhole that was overflowing. We, in our media statement, we also circulated a video which looks of basically a manhole that it looks like blood. I cannot confirm if it is blood, but they have been to the specific manhole that has overflowed. And our water experts that went with us specifically on these tests, or the water specialist, has also been in contact directly with the Department of Water and Sanitation regarding the situation that has happened since the past 24 hours.
Lambert, the next stage is action. You've questioned the situation in Parys. You've thought about it. You've gotten test results now that confirm the presence of cholera. Obviously, the community wants to see some kind of action. They want to feel that they're being protected to some degree. What is AfriForum going to do next to try and intervene on their behalf?
Well, there's a few things we've been discussing and planning at this stage in the past 24 hours since we've received that there is a positive cholera test. As I stated previously, the first thing is that we're going to expand the testing throughout the Vaal River system. So we are in the process of doing that. It's most likely going to start happening tomorrow or Sunday. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we are quite fortunate because AfriForum has been monitoring water quality throughout South Africa for the past 10 years through our own blue and green drop report that we've released each year. And what we've been fortunate, as I stated previously, is that we've got quite a lot of water specialists and water experts on board to assist us in this problem. And we have already written a letter to the Department of Water and Sanitation about a week ago, just regarding the Parys situation, before it even was positive tested for cholera. We've been in discussions with them because of the local government, the local municipality in Guate specifically, where we've been to community meetings, and the technical director could not even give us plain simple answers, and didn't even know where his personnel were at the stage who were also supposed to be in the meeting. We then wrote a letter specifically to the Department of Water and Sanitation to tell them, listen, here's a big problem that's occurring. And then secondly, in that meeting, the technical director actually also admitted that the plan that we've written in 2020 for the water treatment plant to get it back up to standard with cost estimations, with all the relevant expertise to come in to help them, they have only given it 3 years later to the Department of Water and Sanitation. So in broad spectrum, first of all, we're going to start testing throughout the country to make sure specifically the river, the Vaal River as a whole. Then secondly, we have to go look at the water, the blue and green drop report that has been published by the Department of Water and Sanitation in last year. It basically gives, first of all, a green audit. It says to what the wastewater treatment works are. And then secondly, it gives a risk assessment report, meaning it gives what are the critical risks of water treatment plants and water treatment systems in South Africa. And
Lambert,
what we're going to first do is
going to have to interrupt you there. We are running out of time. I do apologize. But it's great to see that you are also involved. We know there's a number of role players all getting involved to try and sort this problem out. And we're hoping to see cooperation between all of those entities for the sake of all of the South Africans. We're all reliant on water, and it's terrible to see so many people sick and so many deaths.